there are people who will take scientific evidence and say, we have a scientific explanation for X. Say, well, for whatever, we have a scientific explanation for X, and therefore God isn't involved in it. And then there's other people who say, if science can't explain it, therefore that's where God is acting, and that's where we see evidence for God. The evidence for God is all in the absence of a scientific explanation. And I think both sides are completely wrong. When we use science, we're merely seeing, getting a better understanding, describing how God is actually working. And as science progresses, we get a better and better understanding of that. So that's me as a Christian viewing it. Someone who's not a Christian can view science differently, but science itself is consistent with a variety of different religious and philosophical perspectives. And it's inappropriate to take science and say that that disproves God, or that's an argument against God. An example of this would be the weather. So when we have scientific explanation for the weather, for storms and storm fronts and pressure systems and all of those things, and still Christians will believe that God controls the weather. They'll pray for a rainstorm, they'll pray for sunshine, for appropriate weather for crops, and they believe God controls the weather, and yet they don't think that science is wrong in its explanation. That's an area where people don't see that there is any dichotomy, and a similar attitude would be appropriate for all areas of science.